So I started on the inquiry into oral language probably about 7 years ago. I noticed that my students, when they were speaking to me, they were looking to me to affirm them all the time, starting their sentences with because and saying something, but ending it like a question, raising their voice at the end like a question and looking to me to say, is that right? And I thought, it really hurt my heart that these intelligent young people felt that they needed me to tell them they were right or wrong. And so I started inquiring, just myself, researching into oral language in terms of teaching practice. And I thought, how can I change what I'm doing to empower the students to feel confident and empower that relationship? And I found out that the traditional method of teaching is monologic, where the teacher, it's called IRF, initiation, response, feedback. The teacher asks a question. Usually the teacher knows what they want the kids to say. The kids try and figure out what you want them to say, and they reply, and you say, good job. And that's the IRF model. And so in order to reject that model, you adopt a model called dialogic teaching, which is where you actually learn alongside the student, and the dialogue is participatory of both people. It's a partnership where you're both learning from the discussion and interaction, and it enables you to be responsive to your students. So it was about me changing my position as a teacher, as not somebody who is pouring knowledge into students, but seeing students as bringing their own knowledge and lived experiences to the classroom, and my job is to respond to that. So it's a shift as a teacher, and then through that I developed the way of speaking in the classroom, the way that I would question and the way that the children would speak to me and speak to each other in order to make that true partnership. Usually in classrooms we say we've got a partnership, but really it's, I'll be your partner if you do what I want. And it's about shifting from that to a true partnership where we're actually learning together through responsive dialogue. And that has actually impacted not only in the classroom, but how I interact with parents, whānau, colleagues, with everybody. And it's a real shift in culture in the school as well. And I really believe and have evidence of this now, that what we say with our students, to our students, and about our students when they're not there as well, and how we listen, and what we say to our whānau about our whānau, and when we're with our whānau, what we say really impacts the culture and the learning and teaching in the school. So how this is translated into positive learning for the students is, in terms of their literacy, because they're deliberately structuring their sentences when they're speaking, they're able to write more freely. Because they're deliberately structuring their sentences when they're writing, it impacts their reading. And in terms of mathematics, when we're having a discussion in mathematics or solving a problem, the problem is not focused on the answer. We get the answer out of the way, and then we talk about how we got it. And everybody feels that their method or their strategy is just as valid as other people's, and we can explore that and discuss it together, rather than reinforcing that status quo of who is right and who is wrong. That's sort of moved. And so it's really empowering for the students. They run their own discussions. The majority of the talk in the classroom is the children. Very little of it is me. I might say one sentence, and then they run their own discussion. So they choose who's going to speak next. I don't. A lot of times I might be writing things when they're talking and just listening, and then I'm able to respond to the discussion that has happened with what I decide to teach next or add in next to our lesson based on what they're talking about. So a lot of times it's about making those decisions as a teacher throughout the day, responding to what the children have done and talked about, rather than me thinking, right, we're going to do this, and I'm making the decision. It's not like that. It's a real shift in your position as a teacher. I think for the parents, the way that we as a school interact with parents, the way that I speak with parents, and really genuinely, truly, I want to know what they have to say in any aspect. Good, bad, positive, negative. I really want to listen, and I want to work on whatever is mentioned, and parents and whānau know that. Our relationship is strengthened because the students are going home and talking to their whānau about what we're doing at school, which then builds that relationship through the student to the whānau. Then they know what's going on and are able to come back and speak about that. So I would definitely say that that sense of belonging is, and whanaungatanga is strengthened